we have got the set breakdown for Fabled, and it has come as a big surprise. We're going to look at how the community has responded on the Reddit thread and react to what this news means for Lorcana and for Fabled. We did know that coming into this set that over half of the set was going to be reprints. And while that is technically true, the reality is that the vast majority of Fabled will be reprints. Around 84% are returning cards, aka reprints, and 16%, 33 cards, will be mechanically new. Now, you have to hope that amongst these 33 mechanically new cards, you're going to have a lot of cards with abilities, and you're not going to have cards with vanilla stat lines. You would hope. You also have to hope that amongst the 171 returning cards, you're also going to have lots of cards with abilities and not that many cards with vanilla stats that aren't very competitive, right? That's the hope. So in that sense, this set could be one of the most fascinating sets to draft. It could be one of the most fascinating sets to do sealed from as well. I really loved the sealed format from the Reign of Jafar. It looks to me, based off the Reign of Jafar, they've been working on that. So I have a feeling that this is going to be a really, really fun set to open in that sense, especially because you've got the iconic cards, you've got the epic cards as well. If you're not familiar, you've still got Enchanteds, but you've got iconic, which is even more rare than Enchanted, and you've got the epic cards, which are somewhere between like a legendary and an enchanted. They're like alternative artwork cards. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Thanks to the channel sponsor Card Market for sponsoring the video. If you're looking at picking up singles online and you're in Europe, for Fabled, Card Market's the place to do it. And I think that a lot of people will be just buying singles from this set because so many people, especially people that watch this video, will already have these cards. And it does feel kind of bad opening a box of Lorcana to just open it for fun if most of the sets reprints, right? But I definitely think that it's going to be... I really hope this set's good for sealed and for draft. I think it might be. If we've got like a de facto set for Lorcana to open for draft, it could be really cool. I think the game could really benefit from a few extra formats that are popular. Like if I post a video at the moment on draft or sealed, nobody really cares, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, some people do, but if there's like a really good set for sealed and draft, that would be awesome. It is important to note that the epic and enchanted cards from the returning cards are going to be new artworks, right? You're not going to have, let's say, the Elsa set 1 enchanted as one of the returning things. That's just not possible. These will be enchanted cards which haven't previously existed. We know, for example, that Pooh Honey Wizard is a returning, I think it's a common card, it might be an uncommon, and it's also going to have an enchanted for the first time. You're not going to have, for example, Tinkerbell, which we also know is a returning super rare because it's got a glimmer foil that's coming out in the next set. That's not going to be one of the enchanted cards. Like Tinkerbell Giant Fairy is returning, but it's not going to have a returning enchanted. Like the only way of getting the Tinkerbell enchanted is still going to be from set 1. So that's important to note. And obviously you've got 12 new enchanted, 7 epics, and the 2 iconic cards are 2 of the mechanically new cards. It's not a lot of new cards. Now, you might look at this immediately and think, well, the game's going to be boring. There's nothing new to try out. It's going to be the same old game that it was before. But that is, of course, not the case because a ton of cards are rotating out. 204 cards per set, and there's 4 sets. Quick maths. About 1,000 cards, roughly, are rotating out, and about 171. So roughly 20%, under 20%, but that kind of ballpark, I guess 17% roughly, of the previous cards from set 1 to 4. That was really bad maths. Ignore me. About 20%, something like that, of the previous cards are being reprinted, which means like the vast majority of cards from set 1 to 4 are not going to be in the game anymore. So the game is going to change dramatically. There's no doubt about that. And also, it's the first time since the game's come out, which the Lorcana game developers are actually going to have a chance to have a really hands-on approach with how the meta develops, right? Like when you release set 1, I'm sure that they know what the set 1 meta is going to be like perfectly, and set 4 as well, because I believe they kind of did them 4 sets at a time. But like when set 8 comes out, right? Like they might have worked on that many sets ago, and they might have They might have been testing it with Flavisham still in the game, or Bucky still in the game, all these sorts of things. Whereas this is like a really good opportunity for the Lorcana game developers, who are outstandingly good at their job, by the way. Like, they are brilliant. My favorite thing about Lorcana is always, as much as I love many things about it, but the gameplay is just brilliant, and the game designers are great at their job, and they now have an opportunity to really handcraft a meta in a way that they want to do, and I think they're going to do a great job. I have a feeling that the meta for Fabled might be the best that we've ever seen in Lorcana, because I have that much faith in the game designers of this game. I might be wrong, but I imagine that I'm going to be right. So I think there's a lot to be excited about. I just think that the sheer amount of reprints comes as a surprise, and for the hardcore players, like most of the people watching this video, I think it's going to be disappointing. Now, there's a couple of interesting things to bear in mind, though, that come with the territory of this set. It is the first set with the new reprints, with the new rarities. So there are going to be a select few people that you might refer to as whales. Certainly that's what you would call them in like a digital card game, that just want and can. They have disposable income, and they want to get the iconic cards. They want to find them, and fair enough. And they're going to be opening, therefore, a lot of these boxes, and therefore you might argue that there's going to be a lot of these mechanically new cards available on the market as a result. Now, the other thing that's worth bearing in mind is that Fabled, therefore, becomes a really good set for players who have not played Lorcana before and suddenly want to join in. I mean, the first rotation seems like the perfect moment to do that, right? And the fact that so many of these cards are returning means that if you've never played Disney Lorcana before, or you didn't play, maybe you played from set 5 onwards or something like this, this set suddenly becomes like a really, really appealing option, right? So that's interesting. You would imagine a lot of first chapter cards in particular will be reprinted. Like, if I had to predict, I would imagine that most, like, the first chapter would be the most reprinted, simply because like you've got so many iconic cards, right? Like Maui, Hero to All, Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, Be Prepared, like just Friends on the Other Side, maybe even like very defining cards for Disney Lorcana that you'd be a little bit surprised to see them completely disappear. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics, right? Like overall, personally, I would have liked to have seen more mechanically new cards. Of course I would have. But that's because I am someone in the camp that owns every single one of these returning cards. Like, the reprints don't do anything for me personally. But obviously there is people that the reprints are going to be really, really good for. So that's overall my thoughts on it. Let's take a look to see how the community has responded on Reddit. Let me just move my camera slightly, and let's see if we can maybe zoom in a bit. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Boop, boop, boop. That didn't work. Let's try again. Boop, boop, boop. All right. So 66 upvotes, 124 comments. So it's definitely something that people are talking about, unsurprisingly. Wow, I was expecting half the set to be reprints, maybe not 5/6 of the set. As someone who recently joined the community, this is what I assumed Fabled was always going to be, because of all the marketing or discussions they've had around it. Made it seem like Fabled was intentionally designed to be a great entry point for new players or people who want to become Lorcana collectors. I understand that may bum the long-term fans out, but I think this is a win because every TCG needs a great entry/welcoming point. Also, this is great to have with the holidays around the corner. Parents can get this for their kids or as gifts for potential Disney adults that will get them into the game. It's a short-term loss, but potentially a big win in the long run. That's a really interesting comment. And while I agree with some of the sentiment, I would counter, hypothetically, for the sake of discussion, not hypothetically, as devil's advocate, well, it's only going to be relevant for 2 sets, right? For 8 sets for 2 years. In 2 years, this is not going to be a great entry point, right? So maybe we're going to have one of these every 2 years. They've sort of seemed to suggest that that's not necessarily going to be the case, but who knows? While it's a good entry point for players, is it going to still be a good entry point for players in a year when this set's going to be rotated out in 2 years? I'm not sure that's necessarily true. And Lorcana's already in a position where, in terms of momentum, a lot of people have been a little bit unhappy with the DLC announcements, with obviously the delay to Season 2 with rotation itself. Is this really the moment to be turning off your avid players? I'm not sure. So it's not a win however you spin it. This is a poor financial decision by Ravensburger. There's no way that new players purchasing is going to equal anything close to what they are going to lose from embedded players. I'm going to go from buying a case to buying singles. This is what Ring 3 says, and I think it's a fair point. But Greta 4 responds, well, you guys can read this. Basically, they disagree. They got downvoted. I think the general gist of it is like a lot of people that are new, you know, will buy a lot of it, and that might change things. Excellent for newer players, but as someone who's been in since the start, I don't think I'll be buying too much Fabled. Oh yeah, this is a buy singles as needed set 100%, says Nitrogen. See, I don't think I agree with this, right? Because like the iconic cards are in it for the first time, I think people are going to chase it. And I feel like it's got to be good for sealed this set. I feel like if this can be like a de facto sealed set, I'm really up for it. I think that'd be really cool. Draft especially, I would love to see more of in Lorcana. I love playing Draft in Lorcana. As a new player, this is great news. Awesome. This is surprising to me. My excitement for the set has just dropped tremendously. The presence of epics and iconics were keeping me motivated to buy a few boxes despite reprints when I'd thought there'd be 100 or two or so new cards. But 33, now I have doubts. Next thing I expect to happen is that the drop rates for the new rarities will be on the pessimistic side of what people are expecting and kill my excitement even more. No new arts for reprints, only enchanteds. This is making sense as some countries are just starting with Fabled and older cards will make it easier to get into the game. Seems like way too many reprints. Yeah, it's interesting. That's stupidly high. I get that they have a lot of backlash over the rotation, but I was hoping for something like 50-50. They said at least half. Yeah, they did say at least half. Which is like, I don't know. People are saying it's a lie. It's not a lie, is it? It's obviously true, but I don't know. It's definitely a bit misleading. But yeah, that's the news for Disney Lorcana Fabled. Let me know what you think. I gotta say, I'm not thrilled by the news, if I'm honest. I'm still really excited for the set. I think it's going to be a good one, but Lorcana is in a bit of a weird spot at the moment where there's a bit of doom and gloom about it, and I'm not sure this is necessarily helping to convince existing players that they want to be buying a bunch of this set. I don't know. Let's see what the reprints are. I have a feeling that Fabled meta is going to be really, really fun. I think it's going to be great. I think that this can be turned into a win for new players. For someone like me that's an existing player, it does feel disappointing that I'm not going to have that many new cards to play around with this set. I'm personally not going to buy much of the set either. Like you might think, well, especially you're going to go chase the iconic card. No, I'm not. To be honest, I'm just going to probably buy a case and then just buy singles as I need. Like just imagine though, let's say you buy a box, right? And you hit 4 legendaries on average, and you might only hit 1 new legendary card. That's going to feel so bad. Or like on average, a box, you're hitting 2 new legendary cards. It's going to feel sad for the core player base of the game currently. But it's good for new players. But I just think that it would be good for new players even if like 120 of the set was reprints. It would still be good for new players, right? It's a very interesting choice to only go for 33 mechanically new cards. I'm not sure I really understand it. I guess they just really wanted to reprint that many cards. The thing is that we already had 2 reprints from the previous set as well, right? Set 8 actually reprinted 2 cards, Captain Hook and Puppy. It's a lot. It's just a massive proportion reprints. I'm surprised. Very surprised. Let me know what you think, guys. Give the video a like. I'm looking forward to Fabled, but I'm hoping I can start getting a bit more hype about Lorcana. I don't like reporting stuff where I'm negative, but it's just I think the messaging was just more than half was setting themselves up for failure with this announcement, really, in my opinion. Let me know what you think.